Hello and welcome. My name is Melinda Hart. You are watching Stamping with Hart. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and I'm so excited to do some cards with the Fright Night Bundle for you. Now, this bundle is going to be available on July 1st, 2025 to customers. It is available to demonstrators, or if you put it in a starter kit right now. This is really cool. So, we have Halloween and all occasion cards with this bundle for you today. So for those of you who are on board for SUMMERWEEN 2025, then you're going to be happy with this video. But for those of you who want to see some all occasion cards, I have something for you too, if you stick around to the end of the video. Okay, so these are pretty much our hero dies. These are going to be the star of the show, the star of the cards. And then we're just going to walk through making a really simple card first, and then I'm going to walk you through a bunch of samples. So the paper that you're looking at is actually from the Halloween Memories Scrapbook Workshop Kit. There are two pictures here up on the screen that I'm showing you, just to refer to where you can find this paper. Last year it was released and it was available as an individual paper pack, and that sold out. But you can still get this paper in that scrapbook kit, and hopefully I will get a separate video out about that scrapbook kit for you. Okay, so this is our standard size card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4.25. This is basic white. These are pretty much standard cuts. So this is what I would classify as a really simple card that we're going to make right here. I was filming on location. Okay, so I was not at home, and I was supposed to cut more dies for you guys in this video, while I was recording, and I realized I brought the wrong plates. I brought my embossing plate instead of my base plate. Now, these spider web die cuts are some of the coolest things about the Fright Night Bundle, as is the spooky spider. The only time spiders are okay is when they are made of paper and for Halloween projects. Look at these bats. How phenomenal are these bats? So just shouting out really quickly, we're not putting bats on this particular card, but those two bats are actually from the Spooky Halloween bundle, which is actually also releasing on July 1st, or part of the Spooky Sweet Suite. So I will show you a card a little bit later that feature those bats, but for now, we're going to stick to specifically the Fright Night bundle to get it started. This, whoever did the artwork on this is just such a cool stamp. Wait until you see the way that it stamps. This is a cling set. We are going to be stamping this on the smaller label die that you're seeing of the two dies that I have sitting there. So we're going to stamp this in pumpkin pie ink. Oh, this is block E, by the way, for my friends who like to know what size block we're using, because it is a larger stamp. Now here, I do want to just quickly go over. I'm going to ink this up. This is a new pumpkin pie ink pad, by the way, and there's just nothing like inking with a brand new ink pad. It's just, even when you use our refills and stuff, like it's fine, but it's kind of like a haircut. You can never quite design the same, do your hair the same way. It's the same thing with re-inking the stamp pads for me. So I'm going to take the white label. So this is the smaller of the two labels, and I'm just going to line it up. So basically I'm waiting until that label is completely covered, and then I'm going to press down and stamp. Because this is a larger stamp, I do recommend that you give it a minute before you lift it off, and just give it a firm press, all over. But it's as easy as that. It's so fabulous. Now, I also want to shout out here a stamp positioning tool. Stampin' Up! No longer sells their stamp positioning tool, but there are other stamp positioning tools out on the market, including the Misty. And this is one of those sets where if you're making multiples, I would actually recommend it. And I might even do a follow-up video about that soon. Now, for the measurements of our layers, the pumpkin pie layer is 3.5 by 4.25. The black and white paper layer is 4 by 5.25 inches. we're going to use 4 black web die cuts. Now, the thing that's really awesome about this bundle is that you actually get 3 of those spider, dies. So the spider web dies. So you can actually cut 3 of them at one time, and that makes it go a lot faster. And here I wanted to show you doing a shadow layer. So I'm not going to do it on this card, but I am going to show you a different sample in just a minute that does use this sort of layering effect. On this particular card, it would have looked awesome with white behind it, but I wanted to try to keep it on the simpler side. I have a tendency to use a lot of pieces and a lot of dies on a card, but just know that that's an option for you. Definitely recommend it. Here I use 2 spiders, so I want to correct myself. I had said that there are 3 spider dies. There's 3 spider web dies, 1 spider die in the Fright Night Bundle, but I cut tons of spiders. For those of you who like shaker cards and who do not mind spending some time die cutting, oh my goodness, between the bats and the spiders and the webs and all of the little spooky things that we're going to be able to use is so cool. For those of you who bought potions and spells last year, that was a bundle that we had last year. This paper actually matches that. So I can't tell you how much I loved this DSP. I'm so sorry I didn't get a chance to work with it last year, but I'm so grateful that I have another opportunity to show it to you this year. Now I'm just popping that layer up on dimensionals. We're going to go ahead, we're going to arrange our spider webs. We're going to kind of offset them. And the thing that I love about the way that this looks, even before I get the layer over top, the sentiment over top, is that it reminds me of a fan. You know how the Victorian ladies would, fan themselves, except the the fan is a spider web. So we're going to do that at the top and the bottom. Now, for those of you who are die cutting and maybe not all of your pieces are going to pop out of the webbing, I wouldn't fuss with it too much. I wouldn't worry about it too much because we're going to cover essentially half of the web. So the tips of the webs were not as important to me, but of course you can, lay out all the pieces of your card and see if there was anything that you do need to make sure that's popped out before you put your piece on. Now, you could glue the whole spider web. I only glued in the tips that are covered. I actually like that my spider web's kind of raised up off of the card a little bit. But if you don't want them to snag or you don't want them to be loose, of course, you can set them down. This is one of those opportunities where I should mention our adhesive sheets. You can basically apply adhesive on a sheet to a piece of cardstock and turn your die cuts into stickers. And something detailed like a spider web would be one of them. So that's it. This is our completed card that we're working with together today. But what we're going to do next is walk you through a bunch of different samples I used with this bundle. And I did incorporate other products. So the card that we're looking at here is specifically from the Fright Night Bundle. And then, of course, the Halloween Memories papers from that scrapbook workshop kit. Now here is where I used the bats. So same designer series paper. This time I stamped that, main stamp in black, Memento Tuxedo Black. There's an example of the web that does have the shadow layer behind it in orange. And you can even see the corner bats, like they fit perfectly into corners. So that's something I'm probably going to do often. But even in the stamped image, I took my Stampin' Blends and I actually just colored in just a couple of little accents, the eyes on the bat and the cat, the brim of the witch's hat, or I should say the sort of that ribbon piece. I colored just a tiny bit on the raven. And then those edges, those design edges there. And I thought that little pop of color just added so much to it. So you can keep it as simple as you like or get as detailed as you like. Okay, so here is getting into the everyday cards. Now, this card base is actually from our pack of note cards and envelopes. So let me give you the measurement on these first, and then we're going to go over all of the different colors used and everything and the different products. So the card is 3.5 by 5 to look at the card front there. We have a cardstock layer that measures 3.25 by 4.75, and then there is a strip that goes down the center that is 1 inch by 5 inches, and then we are using the largest label die from the Fright Night Bundle along with the banner die on every single card. Now the sort of witch's brew card that you're seeing there, that sort of witchy frappuccino up in the corner, is slightly different from the rest of the cards, and I'll go over that. But the 7 cards that you're looking at here that are from the note cards and envelopes, that has the same exact layout on each one, and then 2 different stamp sets. So there is a background stamp from the Fright Night dies, and it has, the lines on it. So I used that background stamp in every coordinating color that matches the cardstock on the note card and envelopes. And I cut a banner die in white for every single one of those cards. And then I used that background stamp to create a stamped background on each one of the coordinating cardstock layers for the note card and envelopes. So that is for the larger die. Now that Witchy Brew card has both of the label dies, but on the note cards and envelopes, it's only the large one with the background stamp, and that creates that really nice border edge on there. But that background stamp can be stamped on either size label die from the Fright Night Bundle. Here is just an example of stamping that background stamp from the Fright Night Bundle. And I did that with the coordinating cardstock colors too. I did not stamp background on the Witchy Brew card, so that's the one exception there. Now this is the Choose Happy photopolymer stamp set from Renee Conkey. She was able to design that stamp set. That's in our annual catalog. She was a $1 million achiever. I do have to state that less than 1% of demonstrators actually achieve that level of sales, but when they do, they get to design a stamp set, which is really cool. And I want to thank Renee because I love this stamp set. I'm so happy I had a chance to work with it. But one thing to know, aside from the fact that you can make a million different occasions with it and, combine sentiments to your heart's desire, it's a photopolymer stamp set, which means that those phrases were really easy to manipulate and curve for the banner. The other thing is the Round We Go. So I'm using Round We Go dies, the larger for the coffee cup, and then the smaller for all of our Choose Happy imagery. And Round We Go is on the last chance list. So I would encourage you to go there to check out the last chance list. If I can get an opportunity to do at least one more video with this before it sells out, I will definitely try to do that. I love this bundle. The stamps and the dies, I believe, are still available, but as of the time of this video, I'm filming this on June 28th, 2025. Just know that once the last chance items are gone, they're gone. So get it while you. This is the More Than Autumn stamp set. This stamp set and the dies are still available on our website. Also absolutely fabulous to work with, and also a stamp set that can easily be manipulated and curved to fit that banner die. So this is what I mean in terms of giving you guys examples. So Love You More Than, I curved that before I stamped it, and I'm telling you, it's just a very simple tweak. Definitely not reinventing the wheel here. We've done it before when we've had things that we've had to curve, right? But I just want to give you some ideas as we come up into, working on fall, working on holiday. more than autumn. If you can, I mean, look at the way that that coffee cup just perfectly fits inside this label die for the Fright Night Bundle. It works out so well. Now on this card, this is actually, you know, the 5.5 by 8.5, score to 4.25. Shy Shamrock card base, 8 of those die cut webs in white to frame in our labels. Eat, Drink, and Be Scary is a stamp from the Fright Night Bundle. And then I use the designer series paper again from that Halloween Memories paper pack there, with 2 of our spooky spiders. Colored the drink with Stampin' Blends. I used Summer Splash, Shy Shamrock, and just a little bit of Granny Apple Green. I decorated the inside as well. I fussy cut those 2 books and put it at the bottom of the cup just to kind of give it a feel, like a vibe, right? So you can have a lot of fun with that. And then just a combination of grays and a little bit of basic black light in the Stampin' Blends for the spooky whipped cream on that drink. So for the other coffee drink, that is a combination of pecan pie stamped and, of course, pool party. This is Azure Afternoon along with Real Red for our Happy Summer card. This is a Halloween card using Choose Happy, but combining it with the phrase from the Fright Night Bundle. This is Azure Afternoon again with pumpkin pie. We used Real Red for the apple card, which was a gratitude card. This is our Be Happy card, Daffodil Delight. And then we have Bubble Bath for our anniversary card. And then, of course, combining it with black. Every single one of those cards has the same measurement, the same layout, just a different theme or, you know, occasion, sentiment, and the same background patterned stamp for every single one. So really kept these cards clean and simple. This is what I mean about the stamp positioning tool, because I sat down and just pumped out 7 of those. And then, of course, I did make the 3 larger cards, but there's 4 Halloween cards total. And then we have some all occasion ideas there for you as well. Now, before I go, I did want to get your opinion on something. So for those of you who are actually still here, thank you for still being here in this part of the video with me. I appreciate you. I want to ask if you're enjoying the shorter length videos. Typically, my videos are longer and I video myself making all of the cards. This time we only made 1 card together and then I just showed you samples of the rest. Are you okay with that format, or would you prefer to see all of the cards being made? I'm very curious because I've just noticed that the watch time on the videos is shorter than the length of the videos, and it's not that that's unusual, but as I'm trying to come back and as I'm trying to be mindful of time, your time and mine, I just want to see if you're happy with this or if you would have liked to have seen the note cards being made as well. Let me know, because I'll definitely be working with the Fright Night Bundle again as we launch this new product, and I'll be working with the Spooky Sweet Sweet coming up here as well. If you have any questions, let me know. If you're interested in this Summerween series that I am doing, be sure to subscribe to my channel so that you can see more. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.